the event, only waiting for the kick-off whistle to be blasted. Prime Minister Joseph John Gute invites Cameroonians to seize the moment and avail themselves for the COVID-19 jabs as the risk of vaccinations expiring is running higher should fear and hesitation continue to linger on for a while. Targeted break-ins into public edifices running high in the nation's capital, with the public wondering the motivations behind these targeted and seemingly coordinated wave of break-ins into strategic offices at this particular point in time. Those are our lead stories. Hello, Ben Menopufong in Yaoundé, and this is the 7:30 News.
I urge you once again to put on your face masks, to wash your hands regularly, and to consult a physician or any other health personnel if you notice any symptoms. This is the only way to save lives and to curb the spread of the virus.
Thanks for joining us. Whoever has been thinking the contrary has certainly been missing the point. As of today, Cameroon is more than ready to stage the 2021 African Cup of Nations come January next year. And Sports and Physical Education Minister is categoric about this. To make assurance double sure, the minister was today at the emblematic and futuristic Olembe Sports Complex that will be one of the epicenters of the Continental Soccer Rendezvous to ensure that everything was in order. Romeo Kmer was with the minister in the crucial outing and is here with a report on Olembe as it awaits the tournament opener.
The 60,000-seater Olembe Stadium is one of the 8 stadia to host games of AFCON 2021. According to McGill officials, in August, international matches will be played on the field. Keen on meeting CAF's November deadline, installations of cables at the west facet for stadium embellishment are accelerating. The second, third, and 4th floors of the facility are endowed with 4 restaurants each, sky boxes for pressmen, lighting systems, shopping center, and presidential lodge complete. The Annex A and B stadia are amongst the 27 training grounds to be used during the competition. Sport and Physical Education Minister Professor Narcisse Molekombi went inspecting and came away visibly satisfied with what he saw and felt on the ground. From June 14 to 16, a CAF delegation led by its Secretary General will be in the country for yet another inspection visit.
And the news has been going viral on social media platforms about the purported withdrawal of the hosting of the 2021 AFCON from Cameroon. But according to Narcisse Molekombi, Cameroon's sports boss, these are all figments of the imagination. He debunked all the allegations at a press briefing today at the heart of the Olembe Sports Complex, saying nothing of the sort is in the agenda or on the agenda of the Confederation of African Football, not even in the faintest of their imagination. Let's now listen to the minister as he sells Cameroon's assets for the hosting of the 2021 event.
Concerning sports facilities, our country has 8 competition stadia instead of 6 and 27 training grounds instead of 18 required by the CAF specification. Cameroon is even in overcapacity in some sites at this stage. It is important to indicate that 5 stadiums have been approved by FIFA for the holding of the Qatar 2022 qualification matches.
There is therefore no iota of doubt that Cameroon, or that come January 2022, Cameroon will be the theatre of Africa's most prestigious football showpiece, an event that will avail the nation yet another opportunity to demonstrate its mastery and artistry in event organization, both from the infrastructural and spectacular standpoints. And you say, Ben and Bumagana, that this brand name, Cameroon, is ready for the kill.
Cameroon's commitment to host the AFCON 2021 has not been and is not cheap at all. Cameroon has invested billions to provide the kind of infrastructural facilities that go beyond CAF's encyclopedia of expectations. 5 of the country's 10 regions now have over 20 stadiums and training pitches to be used for the AFCON. It is even difficult not to get cocky when one starts talking about stadiums in Cameroon. Your modesty in the narrative will be betrayed at the sight of the majestic Japoma Stadium, the very soon to be completed Olembe Stadium, and the others. The availability of hotels, just like the available medical equipment, telephone network and transportation, dwarfs what has so far been served under some heavens where the AFCON was once hosted. The general political will and Cameroon's oneness to host the tournament go beyond the resistance of a bloc. The Cameroonian people are ready and waiting for their African brothers and sisters for the AFCON 2021 Jamboree. After all, the hosting of the 2016 African Women's Championship and the CHAN 2020 in Cameroon was of glowing success. This does not, however, mean the preparations are now perfect. Perfection is not human, but the strive to attain it is Cameroonian. The regular visits to sites by government ministers under pressure from the presidency only confess to perfection that in 6 months the infrastructural delays in Olembe and Garoua will be completed. Cameroon has put in so much and is ready to give Africa their best.
We stay in sports to say that the Senior Women's Handball Cup of Nations that opened yesterday in Cameroon continued this Wednesday at the Multipurpose Sports Complex with 3 matches on program. During the first match, Senegal defeated Madagascar by 42-16, while in the second match, defending champions Angola trashed Cape Verde 39-14. Tomorrow, 2 matches are on the program in Group B, with the Democratic Republic of Congo to play host nation, to play against Kenya, while host nation Cameroon will take on Nigeria at 6 p.m. The government of Cameroon has resolved to intensify its information and education campaign on the importance of vaccination against COVID-19. The commitment was made in Yaoundé today at a meeting to review the ongoing vaccination campaign across the national territory. As Christian Che Atam reports from the Star Building, long-term and short-term measures to boost the vaccination against COVID-19 dominated discussions at the meeting.
Cameroon started vaccination against COVID-19 10 weeks ago. The country targets 812,000 persons for the period up to July 31st. Today, about 13% of that target has received at least the first dose. But the campaign is suffering from heavy misinformation on social media, fueling vaccine hesitancy. The restrained meeting between Prime Minister Joseph John Gute and some members of government had as goal to accelerate and widen the vaccination exercise.
We decided, under the instructions of the Prime Minister, head of government, to intensify our campaign of sensitization.
Other measures to encourage vaccination are being envisaged: vaccination and prevent contamination.
Still in the news today, a wave of burglary is now taking some of Cameroon's major cities by storm. From Yaoundé to Douala, the targets have been public edifices and some strategic structures, all of which have been forcefully broken into by yet-to-be identified criminal hands. The most recent of them happened at the General Directorate of Taxation here in Yaoundé and at the head office of the Cameroon Employers Union, GCAM, all of them on Tuesday night. What the public is yet to understand is the motivation and timeliness of these targeted break-ins, and Constantine Bomb has been prying into this and this now rampant criminal phenomenon and put together the following story.
There is an official communique by the Minister of Finance informing the public that the head office of the Directorate General of Taxation was burglarized. Offices were broken into almost all 11 floors. In Douala, offices of the Cameroon's Employers Union were burglarized as well. Even the Minister of Finance has once been burgled.
The fine here goes from 100,000 to 1 million, and the prison term is from 10 years to 20 years.
This doesn't scare the burglars, as they have a strong motive for the crimes.
Those who are behind such actions are those who are being prosecuted, and they are doing that because they want to collect everything that can be used as evidence against them in the court of law.
Crime experts believe such crimes are committed with accomplices.
People coming from outside know exactly how the offices are organized, where the documents are located. Is because they have the information from inside.
To the experts, such organized crimes can as well target state officials who might be supervising investigations on corruption and mismanagement of state funds.
The ongoing surge in break-ins into public edifices is coming at a time when most of these public structures are being manned for the most by private security companies, chosen on the basis of their competence and efficacy. But as Kilian Datndi for now reports, their output continues to raise a number of questions as to their ability to deliver the best of them.
Downtown Yaoundé Commercial Center. This is the VIP posture of the lone security guard in a corridor of many enterprises, including commercial banks. Bastos neighborhood, reserved residential area for very high social and political personalities still in Yaoundé. Security guards are either errand boys or Android phone playboys. One may not be asking for too much for rangers or other forms of boots, but serious shoes that show some seriousness. Some sensitive strategic and public offices in Yaoundé, the security situation is no better. No doubt, in 1 week, brigands have taken advantage to freely walk into and operate in several offices. The fact is that there is not enough Republican security forces to protect all public offices. Now the question is, shouldn't the private security sector be revalued and given more responsibility? Should the surveillance cameras in all the public edifices be connected to the Central Security Surveillance Center? And finally, the security of public offices and edifices should be covered by the insurance policy.
And against the backdrop of the rising wave of burglary, experts in surveillance say the best way to secure a public edifice or a home is to invest in modern surveillance devices and systems, most of which can be automated by smartphones. Cynthia Saptala has been taking stock of this new surveillance and security devices and reports that the PIZ cameras, the GPS systems, motion devices and alarms are the most trendy nowadays.
A wireless outdoor surveillance camera available at 350,000 francs. Want modern equipment to guarantee security at home or in an enterprise, or this other option, a pan-tilt zoom or PTZ camera capable of remote directional and zoom control.
Modern equipment in terms of video surveillance allows us to get access to the images at all moments. It is able to store images for a certain period, giving you the possibility to revisit them. You can get connected via smartphones at any distance.
According to intelligence system engineers, modern applications are today wireless, of touchscreen capability, security censored for access control, such as this wireless intrusion alarm system, combined with closed circuit television surveillance, which records intruders' activities and electrically locks doors.
Technology constantly evolves, and it is equally important to be updated on what exists. It is a constant battle with thieves, as they too are always looking for ways to evade surveillance systems. Ultra-modern systems are affordable and vary from 100,000 CFA francs to 2 million.
With an appropriate system monitor, an alarm system can be connected through phone lines, the internet, or even a cell network to a central station that is monitored around the clock. According to technicians, this will ensure that local authorities and emergency response services are alerted in the event of a robbery.
And you're watching the 7:30 news on the Cameroon radio television, the CRTV. We are beaming live from Yaoundé. The Minister of Labour and Social Security, Gregoire Warner, says Cameroon is committed to working firmly for the consolidation of the priority areas of action of the International Labour Organization. Gregoire Warner, who was speaking at a video conference in Yaoundé today during the 109th session of the International Labour Conference, also said Cameroon was putting up a commendable fight against the coronavirus pandemic. Lumaslim Davis reports.
The 109th session of the International Labour Conference regrouped a tripartite Cameroon delegation, that is, the government, workers and employers. It was an occasion to outline measures taken by Cameroon government to cushion effects of the coronavirus pandemic.
In face of the menace of the COVID-19, the Republic of Cameroon immediately put in place a governmental response strategy to reinforce health measures and security at work in enterprises and largely sensitize social partners on the barrier measures.
Other accompanying measures, according to the Minister of Labour and Social Security, Gregoire Warner, taken by the Cameroon government include increasing family allowances by 60% and the cancelling of penalties on late payments of social contributions. Gregoire Warner said Cameroon hoped to carry out actions carried out on the international framework to limit the socio-economic effects of the health pandemic.
Over 198 billion CFA francs has been the package of cooperation between Cameroon and Germany for the last 5 years during an intergovernmental forum in Yaoundé between the country director Simon Koppers, who is the divisional director for Central Africa in the German Federal Ministry of Cooperation, and Cameroon's Minister of Economy, Alamin Ousmane May. Both of them agreed to accompany Cameroon in its 2035 emergence agenda. Cameroon's Minister of Finance, Alamin Ousmane May, spoke to our reporter Lumaslim Davis shortly after the encounter.
We appreciated the decentralization process with the support of German cooperation. We have been working hard to improve on the governance of public finance management. We have been able to help addressing all the challenges in forest management, natural resource management, rural development, agriculture, with the support of the German cooperation. Having said this, we want to believe that the road is still a long way to go, because Cameroon, under the strong leadership of His Excellency President Paul Biya, is aiming at becoming an emergent, democratic, and unified country in its diversity.
And the population of Melong and Bafang in the west region of the country have been reassured of the payment of compensation for the loss of property that the construction of electricity power line across the localities is currently going to engender. The message was broken to them today by Water and Energy Minister Gaston Elundwe-Somba as he listened to complaints raised by some families about the impact of the project on the source of their livelihood. livelihood. Clarice Array-Takang is with the minister in the West.
Melong, Bafang localities where the population have had to deal with some consequences which come with stepping up electricity access. From socio-economic to issues of tradition, the construction of a power transmission line to resolve voltage fluctuation problems in the west and northwest regions has been exposed to local realities.
The farm is just something, that is something, it's economic issues, because when they destroy that one, is like, it affects us in an economic way, because that is whatever we used to live.
Au moins les rites, c'est un problème de spiritualité. Parce que quand il s'agit de la base stable, c'est un gros patriarche qui part.
During discussions with the villages concerned, grievances were laid bare. The main one being that some families who have incurred damages due to the ongoing works were not identified, making them not entitled to any compensation.
The promise the minister makes to us is that another commission is going to put on the field to recover all the things who have been destroyed. And they also promise us that they have a system to do it.
The West region currently receives 90 kilovolts in electricity supply, a situation equally affecting water access in many areas. The project is thus unfolding with the hope of successfully addressing these concerns.
Turkish ambassador to Cameroon has pledged his country's readiness to support the handicraft sector in Cameroon to render it a major pillar in job and wealth creation. Volkan Isikche was speaking in Yaoundé today, shortly after an audience with Cameroon's Minister of SMEs, Achille Basiliken III, after which the two officials made a round of exhibition stands at the Yaoundé Handicraft Center. We have details in this report with Ewane Epole.
During the audience granted to the Turkish ambassador to Cameroon by the Minister of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, Social Economy and Handicraft at the Yaoundé International Handicraft Center, both statesmen deepened and finalized the axis of cooperation.
We have explored the possibility of strengthening the capacity of our craftsmen and women.
The audience was marked by a visit to different exhibition stands.
We share the point of view that to the mutual participation to international fair and handicraft fair will be a mutual benefit to develop this sector in Cameroon via exchange of knowledge and experience in that sense.
According to Minister Achille Basiliken III, the Handicraft Center has been initiated by government to promote the country's craft work so as to create direct or indirect employment.
Despite our efforts, COVID-19 plunged many families into mourning and seriously hampered the functioning of our economy and society.
Over 1 month into the ongoing vaccination against the coronavirus in Cameroon, health officials have been expressing appreciation of the impressive turnout of Cameroonians at the various vaccination centers across the country. Baldwin Sama and Dr. Afizu Tambasho of the National Immunization Campaign now brief us on the initial results of the campaign, and they are at the Public Health Emergencies Operations Center here in Yaoundé. Hello, Baldwin.
Good evening to you, Ben Menopufong. For well over 1 month, many Cameroonians, the 10 different regions of the country, have had themselves vaccinated against COVID-19, with many more who are still visiting the different vaccination centers to have themselves vaccinated. Tonight, with our guest, Dr. Tambashu, who is the head of a unit for routine vaccination, we shall find out what are some of the first results of this ongoing vaccination exercise. Good evening to you, Dr. Tambashu.
Good evening.
Explain to us what are the first major results of this ongoing national vaccination exercise.
Thank you for this question. Since rollout for COVID-19 vaccination started on the 12th of April 2021 in Cameroon, over 50,000 people have been vaccinated with the first dose of COVID-19 vaccine, and over 3,000 people have received their second dose and are now fully protected against COVID-19 vaccines. So we are calling on all Cameroonians, those that are still hesitant to take their vaccines, to go to the nearest vaccination center and receive their first dose of COVID-19 vaccine.
How satisfied is the national immunization program with regards to the present figures of those who have been vaccinated so far?
The figures we have now is encouraging, with over 50,000 Cameroonians vaccinated. That is about 6% of the target that we are expecting. So we are still improving on the proximity communications so that these figures can be improved.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tambashu, for all those explanations. We will continue reminding Cameroonians for the importance of having themselves vaccinated, especially those above 18. Get to any of these vaccination centers and have yourself vaccinated against the coronavirus. Back to you, Ben Menopofo.
Thank you very much, Baldwin Sama. 3 bills have been tabled before the members of the Upper House of Parliament for scrutiny. The bills to amend certain provisions of the Finance Law of Cameroon for 2021, the abolition of visa requirements between Cameroon and the Swiss Federation, as well as the reinforcement of bilateral economic partnership between Cameroon and the United Kingdom, were presented to the entire chamber today at this plenary sitting chaired by the Senate President Marcel Nyat-Njifenji. Senate correspondent Charles Anyangwe reports.
The 3 bills that will be examined in the days ahead at the Upper House of Parliament were first of all tabled at the Chairman's Conference and found admissible before they were presented to the entire House chamber by Senate President Marcel Nyat-Njifenji. The first bill seeks to amend and supplement some provisions of the Finance Law of Cameroon for the 2021 financial year. The bill was dispatched to the Finance and Budget Committee and will be defended by the Minister of Finance. The second bill to authorize the President of the Republic to ratify the agreement between Cameroon and the Swiss Federation relating to the reciprocal abolition of visa requirements for holders of diplomatic or service passport will be examined by the Foreign Affairs Committee and defended by the Minister of External Relations. The last bill presented by Senate President Marcel Nyat-Njifenji was that which seeks to authorize the President of the Republic to ratify the Stepping Stone Agreement towards a bilateral economic partnership agreement between Cameroon and the United Kingdom and Northern Ireland. It was forwarded to the Foreign Affairs Committee and will be defended by the Minister of the Economy. Senate President Marcel Nyat-Njifenji called on the different committees concerned to examine the 3 bills scrupulously.
The more than 100-year-old South African life and non-life assurance company, formerly known as Sanlam, has been rebranded into a new label known as Sanlam. The new brand was presented to the Cameroonian public during a press conference at the Yaoundé Hilton Hotel and at a press dinner in Douala last week. Hannah Ekonde of CRTV Center tells us more.
The life and non-life insurance company, formerly known as Sanlam, is now Sanlam, making its mark in 43 countries across the world, with 33 in Africa. The more than 100-year-old insurance company, originating from South Africa, with a capital of 19 billion, is poised to have a strong hand in the insurance sector in Cameroon.
The market in Cameroon is one of the most exciting in the sub-region.
It should be noted that the launching of Sanlam rebranding in Douala and Yaoundé marks the continuation of a 35-year-old insurance affair.
In Cameroon since 1985, at the beginning CNA, then we became Colina, and then we became Saam before becoming Sanlam. So we are not young in the country.
Already existing in the Francophone, Anglophone and Lusophone Africa, Sanlam Insurance Company is proposing attractive policies to beat competition and the confusion usually associated with rebranding.
From today, if you come to one of our branch, you can have your contract within 24 hours. If you want a loan or a partial maturity, it can also be served in 24 hours.
They are also proposing a panoply of very interesting products.
We want to digitalize so that if somebody is in the north, he can easily subscribe. We are also coming with new products which is adapted to all the Cameroonians. You know, as we are today, people always think that insurance for rich people. But Sanlam is known over the world about products which are adapted to the common person. Bayam, Sanlam, Basic, everybody.
After the launching of the new life and non-life insurance company brand, Sanlam, in Douala and Yaoundé last week, authorities say there will be a 2-month intensive nationwide campaign for clients.
And that's the end of it for today. Thanks for the pleasure of...
Despite our efforts, COVID-19 plunged many families into mourning and seriously hampered the functioning of our economy and society.